the wildly abundant woman knows that it starts all within. She's the creator, and she knows that it's important to tend to your roots because they create the fruits of results in your life. And so it's so much more rewarding and so much more beautiful when we create from this deep inner state of being tapped into ourselves and also being tapped into the universe. Because from that state, it's like your manifestation of alignment already starts within yourself, and any other physical manifestations, such as money, such as clients, such as a beautiful relationship, such as great health, all just start to show up as a natural result of your tapping in. Hey there, gorgeous. Welcome to the Wildly Abundant Woman podcast, the place to get inspired to manifest more money the feminine way, feel worthy, love yourself, and learn how to be abundantly supported for your great work, as well as create your life from a deep state of overflow, connection, abundance, pleasure, and bliss. Join the conversations with me and my amazing guests on how to live life fully, make a massive difference, have a lot of fun, and yes, make a ton of money doing what you love. Welcome. Hey there, gorgeous queen. Welcome to the Wildly Abundant Woman podcast, episode number 1 of the new name update. And I'm so stoked and honored and excited to have you here on this journey. And because what does it mean to be a wildly abundant woman? And why did I start this podcast in the first place? That's something that you might be wondering about. And I feel really excited to be able to share a little bit more about that with you today. So let's get started with what the hell is a wildly abundant woman and how do you embody her? How do you embody your own version of the wildly abundant woman? So very basic, the wildly abundant woman, number 1, she's wild. She's wild, she's free. She's authentic. She's not afraid to live a life true to her own desires. Not constantly feeling like there's something that she's looking for externally, whether it's validation or confirmation from somebody, or also whether it's resources. So really finding a way to live life true to yourself. And in some cases, I know for some of you listening, that might be reconnecting to nature, doing the great work you're here to do some healing, and really help people reconnect to their wild inner self. So if that's one that you're resonating with, that's beautiful. But let's move on to the next one because there's so much juicy stuff I want to share with you. Abundant. So the wildly abundant woman. So abundant meaning self-sourced. Really being abundant in every way of the word that you can imagine. Abundant in money. Hell yes, we're definitely going to be talking a lot about that because it's such a yummy and unfortunately still taboo topic. Abundant in health. Abundant in terms of your alignment. Abundant when it comes to just the feeling of living and experiencing what it's like to be in this world. So really creating from your overflow, right? No longer this hustle, this stress, this trying to get somewhere. We don't do any of that. So wildly abundant woman. Woman standing for being an empowered woman, living as a queen, really standing in this world in your full sensuality, in your pleasure, in your playfulness. But for me, what's also really important is that as a wildly abundant woman, we recognize that we are the creators of our own reality. So it's being empowered and really creating yourself, creating from within, but also really with deep connection to the universe. So that's already giving you a little bit of an idea, but I wrote down a couple other juicy points that I think you're going to love that I want to just dive into, as well as I want to share with you what a wildly abundant woman is and what she's not. Okay. So a wildly abundant woman is spiritually tuned in. Spiritually tuned in, meaning she's connected. When I say spiritual, I don't mean religious. I mean finding your own connection to source. And if you haven't heard this story before, I actually grew up in a cult-like church. It was a Christian church. It was a specific type of community. In Dutch we say Pinkstergemeente. And it was quite sectarian. It was almost like a cult where there was this guy actually that claimed to have his one true access to what real religion or spirituality is. Bullshit. The wildly abundant woman knows that she is instantly connected to the universe herself, and she has whatever it takes for her to be fully tuned in with the abundance of the universe. Spiritually tuned in. She's sensual. She embraces pleasure. She doesn't live life from hustle, but she enjoys herself. She's also wildly successful. So I really like these three: spiritual, sensual, and unapologetically successful. Fully embracing success in this world. No longer feeling like money is a dirty word or like success is a dirty word, but actually reclaiming it and reclaiming our power in that sense so we can really show up in this world as who we are meant to be and honor the great work that we're here to do, get paid extremely well for it. So if you're excited about that, give me a little wave, even if I can't see you right now. I just want you to like put your hand on your heart and be like, hell yeah. This is what I long for. I know this is what's true, and I'm excited about stepping more into that. So I'll share a couple more things that define a wildly abundant woman before I'll give you some practices and some exercises to be able to really connect with her and bring her more into your life. So a wildly abundant woman is also unapologetic. So I wrote down this really cool quote actually yesterday before I went to bed because I'm kind of working on my mantras. Mantras really help me to shift some limiting beliefs and really realign with what I'm here to do. And I wrote down a couple of them that I'll share with you. And there's one specifically that I love about being really unapologetic. It says, I do not apologize for dreaming big. I don't apologize for dreaming big. I don't deny myself the manifestation of my biggest desires. I don't feel guilty about my life choices. And I wrote down another one, but I'll share that maybe later on because I want to really stick to the abundant piece. So I do not apologize for dreaming big. The wildly abundant woman is unapologetic. She does not apologize for what she's here to do and for what she believes in. So, woo! Super exciting. And this might, by the way, trigger some stuff, which I'm really curious about if it does. But there's like this thing that we live like following our longings and following like the deepest work that we're here to do. And a part of us that feels guilty about it, not your internal wildly abundant woman. She does not. She shows up fully and doesn't give a single fuck. So yeah, unapologetic. The wildly abundant woman lives her passion. She lives her dharma. So what is your passion? What is your dharma? It's really sharing the great work that you're here to do and noticing that you're not just here for your own pleasure. You're here to make a great, great difference in this world. So the wildly abundant woman is really committed to uncovering what is your calling? What is your passion? What is it that your unique gift that you, only you, are here to bring? That you are here to share? What's the reason you came to this planet? The wildly abundant woman really gets super curious about that and prioritizes sharing herself from that state. Again, she thinks abundantly. So because she thinks abundantly, it means when she shows up and she gives, she serves in the world through her work, it's not from a sort of dry, empty state. It's not from a trying to prove herself. It's also not from a hustle and like, I give until I die. Right? So she understands that her work is very valuable and it's worthy of abundant compensation. So that is a super powerful and important part of the wildly abundant woman. She is here for a reason. She knows it. She owns it. And because she's also really tuned in spiritually and connected, She trusts also that even if she's not clear on her passion or her dharma yet, it will be unveiled to her. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast already now and you're like, oh, Leonie, I'm really so curious about uncovering my dharma or my passion even more, then you're in luck, because in September this year, we're going to be hosting the Live Your Passion Challenge again, which is this amazing 5-day experience where I go live. You get to listen to me, you get to hear me, and I get to share all about uncovering your calling, your dharma, your passion, what you're here to do, and what you can start doing to start bringing that out into the world. So, but for now, just for you to know, the Wildly Abundant Woman is really connected to her dharma and her passion. And so she shares, she's comfortable giving, she's comfortable receiving. It's this wonderful exchange that she has with the world. She's a creator, kind of shared that before already a little bit. She's not a victim. She's a creator. And whenever she starts to identify with some lower vibrational victim personas, I like to call them, inspired by Gay and Katie Hendricks' work, she notices that. She does not judge it. She notices it. And she does whatever she can to reconnect to her inner power. And really remember, and I want to speak here to you directly. You create your own reality. You are here for a reason. You have a choice in how you want to show up, and you have a choice ultimately in how you want to feel about yourself and what you want to believe to be true about the world. And that's a big part of what you can expect also in the Wildly Abundant Woman podcast moving forward. Really, all of the topics that I spoke about are things we're going to go into in depth, but specifically the part about becoming the creator of your own life, really living as an empowered queen, no blaming, no guilt feelings, no victim-y type of stuff, really showing up unapologetically as who you are here to be. The Wildly Abundant Woman, and then I'll wrap it up, she also creates from within. So creating from within, just imagine, it's very different to create from within and to work on your alignment and to really tap into your Wildly Abundant Woman. I'm going to share an exercise about that in a moment. Or to feel like your abundance and your success is outside of you. So the Wildly Abundant Woman knows that it starts all within. She's the creator, and she knows that it's important to tend to your roots because they create the fruits of results in your life. And so it's so much more rewarding and so much more beautiful when we create from this deep inner state of being tapped into ourselves and also being tapped into the universe. Because from that state, it's like your manifestation of alignment already starts within yourself, and any other physical manifestations such as money, such as clients, such as a beautiful relationship, such as great health, all just start to show up as a natural result of your tapping in. And that's what I'm really, really excited about. So I hope that just from this description alone, you already got a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing here together in the Wildly Abundant Woman podcast over the next, year to come. I don't know how many we're going to keep this going for, but I'm really excited about making this a movement and including you as well as many other women that are aligned with this journey in this gorgeous community. So, just to clarify, the Wildly Abundant Woman, we got clear on what she is and what she represents. The Wildly Abundant Woman, it's also important to recognize some things that she is not. For example, what does she not do? She does not hustle. She does not try to get anywhere. She does not impose her beliefs on others. She does not feel like she is unworthy. She really knows her worth and her value. She is not trying to prove anything. She is not trying to get any sort of, because she's self-sourced, remember? She doesn't live in like this victim-y triangle of trying to get somewhere. She's not hustling. She's also not afraid to do the work. Wildly Abundant women are not afraid to do the work. However, you show up from a state of joy and a state of bliss. Okay, so she's not some kind of greedy, money hungry, secretly working herself into burnout divine manifester, because that's bullshit and that's never gonna get you what you want. No, she's aligned, she's tapped in, she's authentic, she's true to herself, she's loving, she's abundant in the way that she gives and in the way that she receives, and she lives a juicy, empowered life. All right, so we got clear on what it means to live as a wildly abundant woman. I thought it might be powerful to give you some really cool tools on how you can embody the wildly abundant mindset more in your life and how you can start doing that today. And so a little bit, actually, I feel like before we go there, I want to share with you super shortly about why I started this podcast and why I'm creating this work. And I'll try to see if I can do a really short version of it. I'll just share the reason why I'm here, why I feel I'm here on this planet, is I'm here to help you trust yourself more, to remember that your message is needed, and that you are here for a reason, you are worthy, and that life gets to be fucking fun and super mega awesome. So for those of you who don't know, I actually grew up in a cult-like church in the Netherlands, and I was always taught that it's better to be a man than to be a woman. I don't know if I really heard that sentence specifically like that, but it's something that was always kind of imprinted on me. I also learned that I can't have my own wild, authentic connection with source. And I also learned that pleasure is dangerous because, Eve, she followed her pleasure, picked an apple, and created the end of paradise. So she kind of ruined everything for everybody else by following what felt aligned for her. Now, my biggest life lessons all came along these lines of recognizing that hell yes, life gets to be fun. And yes, absolutely do follow your bliss and your pleasure. Even if you don't know the bigger picture yet, follow that little nudge, follow your intuition. And I'm so glad that I gave myself the permission to do that, because it's what helped create this amazing life for me right now that I'm able to live. Where I have my own super successful business. I am able to travel the world. I'm fully location independent. I work with the most fun clients that I have a rule. I only work with clients that I can go on a holiday with, and I am actually able to manage that. I have super successful online programs. And that all was manifested from following my intuition. And that's what I really feel I am here to teach you as well. And you'll probably hear a little bit more about each of those stories along the way. So over the next couple podcasts, I might decide to dive deeper into one of these stories. And you'll be able to hear more about it. But for now, I would really love to make this podcast the kind of place where you don't only come to listen and be inspired, which if that's all you do, that's wonderful as well. However, we all know that transformation, sometimes it's true. Sometimes it can happen from just listening to something and from taking it in and absorbing it. But really where the magic starts to happen, where the rubber hits the road, is when you start implementing stuff and your insights and really start taking action on them. So I have an action step for you today, and it comes in the form of a journaling question. And the question that I would love for you to journal on is, how does the wildly abundant woman, so how does your inner wildly abundant woman live? How does your wildly abundant self live? How does she move? How does she speak? How does she feel about herself? Where does she hang out? What is she up to? What does she believe about herself, about the world? So I noticed I mentioned a lot of things here, but I'll write it out for you. But the core question to play with is, how does your wildly abundant woman, your wildly abundant self, how does she live? Who is she? And what is she up to? Okay, so I really would love for you to take this challenge on. Consider this sort of like a free online training, an online program. And I'd love for you to show up just as much as you would if you would have paid for it. So if you're in, take on that challenge, do that exercise. And if you want to share your insights with me, please come on over to my website. So that is leoniegabriella.com, Leonie with IE, Gabriella with double L.com/podcast. And come on over, scroll to this episode, The Wildly Abundant Woman, and share your answers with me. I'll write it out again as well on the page. But I'm really, really curious to hear from you. How does your wildly abundant woman live? Who is she? What does she do? What is she up to? All right, so go ahead and leave a comment so that I'll know what you're up to. And maybe even a challenge I'll give you as well with that is, which one practice can you take on to connect even more with her in the next couple of weeks? So, would love to hear from you. And I'm doing something really, really cool as well. I'm gonna make some really awesome screensavers that you can download and put on your laptop as a background or on your phone as a background, so you can connect even more with your wildly abundant self and be reminded of the fact that you are tuned in, that life gets to be fun, that you can trust yourself, and that life gets to be so yummy, delicious, and amazing. All right, gorgeous queen, I love you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and stay tuned because in the next couple episodes, I've got so much yummy stuff coming. I think next week I'm going to be sharing a lot of insights that I got during my sabbatical and how I dealt with feelings of being unmotivated. I'm going to talk about how to connect more with your femininity and manifest from that state. So there's a lot of juicy content coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. If you're not on my email list already, make sure you sign up at leoniegabriella.com so you get these inbox updates as well as personal stuff that I don't share anywhere else. And that's it. I love you so much. See you very soon. Mwah.